Hello and welcome to another stream, Cronos Watcher. I am experiencing something weird with my audio here, some delay. There we go. That's a little better. So, welcome to a weekly recap on the Cronos blockchain news. I have some mostly Twitter stuff up here in front of me to go through with you, and we can jump right in and get a lowdown on some of the news for the week. So here we are. I have Dark Crypto's Twitter page up. I just wanted to cover the platform because it seems like it's gaining a lot of traction after the introduction of its Darkness US dollar platform. It's a stablecoin swap, so they're gaining more and more attention. They've had some mainstream attention as well with news articles and stuff. And if we have a look at their weekly Dark Friday summary here, you can see that even just as they put this out, I presume they might have had it together before the fact, they were at 85 million TVL as they were, I presume, making this video here. And if we scroll up literally on the same day that they posted it, they had increased again by another 25 or so, or by another 15 or so, and they're up at the 100 million TVL. Now I presume that's between the Darkness US dollar platform and the Dark Crypto platform itself, and all of the initiatives they'll be adding and coming up with in the near future. But if we scroll through this video a bit, got more milestones like Darkness, there you go, that was contributing to the TVL, 20 million itself. They've also onboarded Peck Shield for auditing, so that's good. The redeem system was launched for the US dollar stable swap. But there's an important one at the end of this I wanted to just jump to, and I suppose be someone to call it out here. Maybe we want to keep an eye on in the next while. You can see here they have something kind of coming soon, Dark Crypto, more than just an algo token protocol. So one to watch out for now over the next coming weeks. Are they going to be delivering on some of the GameFi that we've seen, and some of the other interesting things in their roadmap? Again, a very good protocol, it seems, with a decent team, good media presentation and things like that. So definitely one to keep an eye on at the moment. So I'm wondering if I should push my volume up a bit, or will that just be distorted? I'll have to check it out on the stream afterwards. But apologies, I noticed that with one of the streams I am very quiet at the moment, so I'll just jump over and make sure that we don't have any comments going on or anything like that. No, it seemed to be good. In case I miss anyone, I hate that if there's a comment dropped and you don't catch it. So I have got a little screen here. It's part of what's contributing to the fan noise in the computer. It's kind of freaking out. But moving on here, I want to cover some of the mad Meerkat ecosystem. Obviously a really good time to be doing so. Some huge stuff coming out there. This breakdown here is from Cronos News, you see, and I'm going to cover a lot of their stuff here on the weekly recap stream, and I might just be keeping up with them pretty much specifically. These infographics are absolutely invaluable to the ecosystem as a whole. They've been doing great work there, and just for yourself to know that it's pretty much an independent operation. You know, Web3 Wires is not a huge company, and it's a pretty tight-knit team that are putting together all of this stuff. And I think the Cronos News channel itself is operated by one guy. So this one guy putting all of this stuff together, and putting out some really valuable stuff around the ecosystem. So I just want to give them a shout out, and thanks for all of the news so far, keeping us completely updated about the ecosystem. But if we look here, if it's a bit too small for you, I can read it out on this. You'll see the comparison between the TVL in MMF and other top dexes on Phantom. So their TVL is 950 million at the time of publishing this, which is March the 16th. And you can see that solidly Spooky Swap, Beethoven X, I hadn't even heard of that, to be honest, and Spooky Swap, all of them ranging from the bottom side of 204 million for, or sorry, it wasn't Spooky Swap, it's Spirit Swap. Is it? I think. But these are all, again, Phantom dexes anyway. So Phantom is a huge chain, would be a big competitor because it's one of those small chains that has a lot of like what would you call it, media narrative surrounding it at the moment, and a lot of build up around its products and stuff. Obviously suffering recent news with the I suppose, are one of the most famous DJs yet. Andrew Cronje leaving the ecosystem and his partner, but they've a huge team of devs, and they've said it themselves. They're going to keep going, but in terms of all of that, they're going for 2 years more than us. They're, I think, at least. They've huge presence and everything, and on our tiny little Cronos chain here, you've got MMF dwarfing the next one solidly at 750 million. So again, you've got DEXs with TVLs from all the way from 204 million to 750 million, all dwarfed by MMF on Cronos. So it's something it's just really interesting to keep an eye on. It's kind of amazing we have grown so quickly. I should have remembered to close the window there, but obviously that crow agrees with our Cronos growth. So also we've just seen the end of the Cronos Football Club launchpad on Mad Meerkat. You can see them there just congratulating everyone. They were $29 million subs. That was over 47x, 47 by over subbed for the launch for the token sale. So I think it has done a pretty, meteoric rise up, as you would expect during ICO. Another drop down, back down. The last time I saw it, I think it was nearing the 7 cent range, 7 cents dollars. So should be seeing another uptick after all of the news calms down about it, and the launchpad and ICO sort of levels out, and then they start building their platform and releasing the game. So one to keep an eye on there. Cronos Football Club just had their launchpad on Mad Meerkat, just ended today, I believe. I wanted to kind of cover Sequence's own homepage here, their profile. They have been stirring up some madness on the Sunday today, literally as I was going live. This stuff is their kind of sneak peeks and hints as to what is coming for the Mad Meerkat Treehouse. Very exciting altogether. They've already introduced frames and murals you can put together to host inside your Mad Meerkat Treehouse. I presume this will all be part of their virtual gallery tomorrow, and I'll just search it manually here on this tab, because there was actually an announcement just as I was going live. Yeah, here we are. There's a video and all. We'll be launching this Sunday, 6th of March, 1 p.m. UTC. Sorry, that's the mint. Excuse me. No, here we are. I was thinking there was already a video. Was there already a video? No. This just released 28 minutes ago. Mini announcement, Treehouse platform launching in under 24 hours, presumably meaning that people can stake their NFTs at the very least, not to mention host them. I'm not sure exactly now. I want to jump into the Discord and find out what's happening if you're not involved already. But again, huge moves from the Mad Meerkats and the Treehouse initiative, the project, again hosting all of those NFTs, and I presume the NFTs that are in the Under One Roof program as well. I'm not sure, is it just any NFT? I presume any compatible NFT, one to look into. But again, they're stirring the pot now on the Sunday this week. We should see a lot more about the Mad Meerkat Treehouse launch. So again, kind of looking at Mad Meerkat, who have this very interesting infographic again from Cronos News, and they're saying themselves that TVL is a metric that can be used to evaluate the development potential of platforms, and you can see that it's the growth rate of the DEXs. If I click on this, I think it only shows you a certain amount of it. You can't see the whole thing. If I just transition here, we try this so you can see it. Yeah, so looking there, the top side of its growth rate, Mad Meerkat was 9% over the course of those days on the 17th on Paddy's Day. You can see that that's probably to do with the Mad Meerkat, the MMT, the Treehouse mint going ahead. Their growth rate actually increased as a result of it. You can see underneath that VVS is also making some moves. I mean, I presume that is to do with added up over time, the collective sort of growth of the chain itself. But again, competing with all of these top DEXs, it's kind of amazing to see that it's so really meteorically fast that we are jumping into this sort of echelon of chains that were already kind of matching all of those big, huge players in the game. So I'll transition back here now to our little Twitter view, and we can get back to the tweet. So again, really helpful from Cronos News, just breaking down that our growth rate has been matching, if not exceeding, the dexes of other chains, very large chains at the same time too. Another one here, according to data from CoinGecko, Cronos News found that MMF Crypto flipped Spooky Swap and Trader Joe in 24-hour trading volume. It's kind of an absolutely amazing statistic when you think about it. Just again, to be so brand new, and this is trading volume, I suppose. Was it over 24 hours? Just that 24 hours. They might have, I suppose, been competing for top spots at the moment regardless. But again, blowing the other two out of the water with 178 million in 24-hour volume. If this was for the March the 18th, I presume again to do with Mad Meerkat Treehouse and a sort of an exponential rise in popularity that we have actually going on at the moment. But that's huge news for such a young chain. Again, to be doing these things so quickly is the biggest thing. Just to be making these moves so quickly. It'd be one thing if you took over from large dexes after half a year, being out there ploughing the trade, advertising the chain, getting partnerships and investments. But no, here we are. It's been done this quickly, just in a few months. It's kind of amazing. Some more news, the Ape Coin narrative taking over everywhere, obviously. I suppose it's very interesting to see it now listed on Crodex, on the Crodex app. So again, something that's available in the DeFi wallet. Got a lot of activity, I presume, from other places, other chains and everything being just compatible with MetaMask type thing. But kind of cool to see Ape Coin coming to the chain in general. I'm presuming that Crodex was the first to catch and list Ape. So that was a pretty quick move. And you can see it was through multichain.org. I think they're one of their partners. It's another open swap platform, so IBC compatible, EVM compatible, all of that. So again, we're seeing the Ape Coin on Cronos chain, all thanks to that kind of compatibility that we enjoy. Some more news here from Cronos News about the team at Cronodes.Finance and them making some changes. That's a good article to keep up with. I will keep it in the links below, and there'll be others for you to catch up on, just the ones I thought were interesting and noteworthy of the last week and that. But they have cut their rewards. Obviously, they had to do that for sustainability with the project. And they have also, though, introduced a reduction in claim tax temporarily. So, you know, they're giving the community a lot of breaks there. They did a giveaway as well to make up for the recent events and narrative that we saw. So that's an interesting read, just to kind of catch up with what happened over the course of a week or two-ish with the Cronodes project from Cronos News, and I'll drop that in the description again if you want to click on and read through it. So this was an interesting one of these recorded spaces. These would be coming from Cronos News all the time, so it's very good to keep up with if you want alpha that you can just listen to in the background rather than having to do all of the reading yourself, which you should do anyway, of course. Always do DYOR, always look into everything and read up properly. But the AMA here was very interesting with the GambleFi platform. They are making some very interesting moves to introduce all of that to the platform. I asked myself about regulation and stuff, and they're very much on top of that side of things, although not hugely worried about it because of how they're putting their product together. So again, it's one to read on, get interested in if you're into that kind of thing already. Of course, if the gambling is your thing, be very careful. But they have a zero loss betting platform is one of their biggest selling points. So that's going to be very interesting in the coming months. So if you want to learn more about that, catch up with that AMA from Cronos News. I think we have another one here from the CroBank platform. They look to be making interesting moves on, again, the USDC rewards side for people, which is going to be something popular because obviously staying stable and earning rewards on the platform will be a very attractive option for the less degen, I suppose, less risk-taking Cronos users out there. So again, this is an AMA to catch up with on the Cronos News Twitter channel, and I'll probably put these AMAs as well into the description, so they're nice and easy there for you to catch up on. But CroBank introducing reflection rewards on USDC and some other interesting things, stable DEX and things like that. So that's a good space to catch up on a brand new platform, I suppose, trying to compete with some of the other dexes that are there, and they have some good kind of USP approaches, and I think some GameFi coming. So again, catch up with that Twitter space if you want to hear some alpha on a brand new project. We have some more interesting news from Crypto.com themselves here, announcing a partnership with Carnegie Mellon's CYLab. It's basically their security research institute in Carnegie Mellon. It's a college, obviously. Which is great because that's where you find innovation and sort of cutting edge technologies, and you find the kind of next new protocol or things like that. That's where these things happen often. Obviously, there's a lot happens in the private industry, but the colleges and those kinds of places, those are where those kind of incubation of projects and stuff like that can happen, funded, backed by the likes of Crypto.com, and obviously benefiting every Crypto.com user in the end from advancements that are made in the security that is provided to us. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can check in on the article below in the description. Again, more encouraging news for the Crypto.com platform in general. So we have some general kind of Cronos chain growth news here from Cronos News. Compared to some of the top blockchains, Cronos is the only gainer in TVL at over the past 30 days. That is kind of amazing. I'll transition here now and get the full-scale image up for you. But you can see there 19% gain. Obviously, it's because we're so brand new. That's the majority of the reason for this. It's not like every other chain is like dying or we're sucking all of the TVL out of them. It's just market conditions and things like that, external factors, including the fact that we're so new. But the fact that the gap is so huge that we were the only ones gaining and gained by 20% is a really good indicator, hopefully, of the strength over the coming months. If we can keep that up and the projects continue to be excited by the community and vice versa, hopefully this growth continues, because we can only attract attention then. Not many chains are going to have such a meteoric rise and go back to the same point. We will certainly see a cool off of all of this action at some point, but again, very encouraging news for any Cronos users that we are the only ones gaining in TVL over that past 30 days when this tweet was published, at least on March 15th from Cronos News. So again, 3 billion in TVL. This was tweeted out, Let's Crow, by Cronos News. I believe that Chris himself, the CEO, actually replied to it somewhere. There's Alpha with a ping pong. He replied to it somewhere when 30 billion. So even the CEO pushing the when narrative and how big, how fast. I don't think we see that for quite a bit, but certainly at the moment, if we can continue at this rate, which I think we have to see a slowdown at some stage, but if we continue at anything close to this rate, we're going to be up at the 10 to 15 pretty soon in terms of crypto product life cycles. You know, this is very, very fast rise to popularity. I suppose it's given the market, given the company itself, the conditions, and you know, it's fun here. That's the main thing, isn't it? So Cronos News here asking which blockchain platforms are getting the most support from the community, which I thought was a very interesting one too. So if we transition you here to the full infographic, you can see that Cronos getting 156% support from its community. That's the rate of social contributors to the top blockchains over the last 24 hours. So the timestamp is 2:30 a.m. on the 17th here, which is Paddy's Day, start of Paddy's Day. I presume it's nice not to do with Paddy's Day, is it? But we've like 150% rate, social contributors rate versus this is, I presume, amount of interaction, essentially. People posting about the chain, people interacting with its socials itself. I don't know exactly where this data comes from, but again, it's from Lunar Crush. It'd be fairly reliable in terms of how it's put together, but extremely interesting sort of engagement statistics, again, pointing to the amount of excitement we have around the platform. And that's going to be a huge growth statistic. You can't ignore the basics of an economy that way, where people are going to be excited about a product. It will do well as a result. So the excitement is a huge thing. This is kind of another piece of sentiment along the same line. So if I transition this full infographic in here, you can see this is the Cronos TVL and the unique addresses. So matching these two figures together, it kind of gives us a good read of what the, I suppose, what the actual usership is. I was trying to think of the word, like how many, maybe you have a huge TVL on the chain, but how much of that is large investors versus normal small users who are going to actually contribute to the growth of the chain by transacting regularly, by supporting projects that come onto it, all of this kind of thing. Those, hundreds of thousands of normal people investing is way better than one single whale investing hundreds of thousands, technically, let's say, for statistics on chain and for its growth and health over time. So again, this showing that with our TVL, the amount of addresses has been slowly climbing too, which is a very healthy statistic. It shows that we do have that normal user engagement, normal people stepping in to invest in the chain, and obviously as a result, as I said, in the end contribute to its TVL and its overall success. So I wanted to finish off with this thread from Cronos News as well. I think it's one you should catch up with. I will link it down below, about the Trooprz. One of the only NFT projects I'm going to fully declare at the moment I'll align myself with in some way, shape or form. One of the messages I really liked out of the platform was the fact that, they've got your back. They have all come in some way from communities that were maybe not so successful. They have come from ETH, and that everybody has experience there. They have seen lots of things happen, and their whole mantra is that the Trooprz have got your back while coming to the Discord chain, while coming to the Cronos chain, and Discord again being one of the main places to go to get involved there. So I'm hoping for the Trooprz myself that their Discord, I'll start shouting about it, can become a safe place for a lot of new users to arrive, because I know the leader of the Trooprz project is a very cool person, very present in the spaces, very accessible. They all are in the project there, and not to mind even just the community inside is one of the best, definitely one of the best, to be going to ask new questions, to be going there clueless and need some help, and to be able to trust everyone you're talking to, because that is the entire point of the Trooprz project. Obviously going to get on trustworthy characters in every project, but they're not the ones on Discord engaging with you, teaching you how to use MetaMask or sharing guides for bridging, etc. So definitely want to point out this thread that Cronos News made on the Trooprz, and I suppose him kind of pointing to the same sentiment, pointing to the same sentiment that since their inception they've amassed a healthy and vibrant community, and in the thread he wants to focus on what made that, and go and read this for yourself. I don't want to read out the entire thread, but basically they're kind of touching on all of the what would you call it? Don't want to say the touch points, but the main points of what's going to, hopefully, if we're shouting for some hopium, make Trooprz great in the end. So again, I don't want to read out the whole thing here, and I want to try and manage the stream. We've gone 28 minutes already, so that's going to be a pretty long watch for most of you. You probably got the vegetables chopped, or your beer drank, or your coffee finished, and etc. by now, whenever you're catching up with this. So I'll link that below, and again, a good one to drop in on and read that tweet and see if you're liking the vibe with the Super Troopers, because I think with the Troopers even, and the Super Troopers are on their way. I believe it is tomorrow, I'm sure. Here they are over on the right of my screen. I'll go to their Twitter itself. Where are the Troopers? Here's their tweet about their safe swaps platform that's going to be extremely exciting. And this was the tweet that I wanted to share too. So the snapshot for the Super Trooprz, which is if you own I believe it's 2, but it has to be Series 1 and Series 2 Trooper, you'll be dropped a Super Trooper sometime in the near future after the snapshot. So if you're seeing this, you're catching in with some news, you're not normally in the spaces and everything, haven't been active, and you own 1 Trooper or 2 from a mint of one of the either season, I believe it has to be from Gen 1 and 2. I think that's one I should have confirmed before I start talking about it. But again, jump in at the moment. If you're liquid enough, get yourself 2 Troopers so you'll get a Super Trooper. But again, one of the projects I'm behind because of the message sharing, and that I want to be part of that message ourselves here, myself here with the Cronos Watcher, and everybody who's kind of the main influencers in this community are very much have a vested interest in that. They're hugely aware of the fact that we want to minimize the danger, the risk, the scams, etc., so that everybody is having fun here in the long run. So I suppose we'll just have a quick check-in on our Cronos homepage. Watch your eyes now. I suppose if you're in the dark or anything, sorry for the quick jump to the light mode, but I was just looking myself at the gas chart there. You can see what have we got. The average gas price is starting to rise a bit. That's not really something to worry about too hugely because of the way the chain is created. Our gas prices are never going to be at the $100 level. They may get to the $10 level if we got really, really, really crazy. But you can see them slowly increasing now, at least on average, which is a sign that we're getting more and more daily transactions, interaction with the block. Maybe we have more validators stepping up, more competition, who knows. I would need to look into other stats for that. And I really got to start honing in what we cover on the channel kind of regularly and which charts we look at and that, so it can kind of be a routine, and we're all very educated. When things happen, then we see, oh look, massive spike in transactions and new addresses. We must have had some news event. A lot of people came on from somewhere in particular. But also just want to check in on the daily transactions chart. You can see another steady uptrend here. We have a listing for Saturday, March 19th, which was 200,000 total transactions. And again, 2,500 addresses, new addresses seen. I must check with myself, with someone more expert, what that new addresses seen figure actually means. Is it literally brand new addresses that have connected, or is it just new addresses that haven't transacted in a while? I'd love to know, because if we continue to see that 2,000 to 3,000 addresses a day, if that's not slowing down over the next couple of months, we can expect the TVL to keep going. We can expect projects like Meerkat and good NFTs and etc. to be very successful, because that all indicates healthy volume of, again, those normal investors, normal people stepping onto the chain to transact and interact, and again, those things that will actually contribute to the chain in the long run. So obviously no price action or charts or anything like that today. I suppose we can have one quick look after what we were talking about with the huge news event and sell-off. If you are just checking this news out, what we'll do is just look at a weekly. So like, I presume we're not closed yet on the weekly, so I presume it would be midnight UTC tonight. So we've had 147 million volume already over this week, and the week before in MMF, we're looking at MMF token. The week before we had only 107 million, before that 75. The only other larger amount of volume I think was around ICO, not even. So this day here is this week here of the 14th of Valentine's, everybody dropping out to buy the presents, was the largest amount of volume we've had, which is 160 million, and you can see that we're nearing that again. Obviously some shaky ground on a weekly with such large wicks at either side, an overall percentage of 52% or less than that, 50, yeah, sorry, I'm after clicking off the thing, but 50% basically move within the week. And what did we have? We kind of opened at 94 We look to be closing around 99, maybe $1, and we had a high of 120, a low of 80 cents. So some massive movements there over the course of the week. Savannah, the same. I won't be covering it too much all the time as we move on, unless people ask for it. It was just to cover this MMF massive price spike during the week. Be one I'll cover if people want to hear about it. But I'm sure I expanded these all to weekly charts now just before I started the stream, just so you get a feel for them. And then, of course, when you jump back in, they're gone tiny. So, again, the weekly for Savannah looking like we might have some extra downside. But every week so far for it has played roughly within this range, 96% range, quite a lot for especially for small people who are smaller wallets who are jumping in. Huge range, but not a lot of movement outside of that. So we could potentially see continued downside if the excitement over the platform, the hype, is to level off, and that we might have attention taken away from it by other projects and platforms and news events and narratives. And you can see we still have quite a lot of potential downside out of those ICO ranges if it was to happen. So next week, the weekly, we'll be looking to hopefully settle well above that 110 range. Hopefully 30% upwards of that. We can stay within the 140 to more 48% and 160 range and move upwards from there. But for now, I'd say we're going to see some calm downs on SVN. I just forgot to the other day as well. We're looking at MMO, Meerkat Optimizer. This is actually involved in the staking and yield platform. So it's a fixed supply token that's used for rewards. So probably expected to be quite valuable in the end if Meerkat is to be overall completely successful. But we've seen a little cool off, a little downside after it was unaffected by the Meerkat drop off for some reason. Again, can't tell exactly what news event that was, but in the last couple of days now we have seen it drop off, possibly being sold as profit along with selling out of the other LPs and tokens, because this is again given to people for staking as a reward. So this sell-off you might see as a reaction to the drop in price from Savannah and MMF and the likes, and people are taking the profit from those LP pools and etc. that they were in. So if we have a look at the weekly on this, would be a little awkward. We'll have to zoom in and stuff, but you can see it's an absolutely straight shot spike up out of those lower ranges. So it did drop right back down on its ICO to $2, and we're now up at 838. That's looking where we'll close the week, open the week at 690, and it's looking like we'll close at 825 at a high of 927 and a low of 680. So again, looks to be moving out of those seven, I suppose even $5.75, $6 to $7 or $8 ranges, and hopefully we'll find some support. Again, that's hopefully we'll find some support over the next week in the middle of the 7 something range, $750 dollars and up. Again, one to cover for myself because I'm keeping an eye on it. Sky has continued to move, and it has moved down now over the last 12 hours, I suppose, ish. Continued to move up though, looking pretty strong. Again, a revenue share token, the platform itself, that's why I was covering it at the start and watching it starting to gain a lot of attention. We'll definitely see a cool off from this side, but overall I'm expecting this, not financial advice, to be ranging within this now, that the platform has a lot of support at this stage. So unfortunately with DeFi projects, it's always a potential. I mean, our week has been phenomenal. The open was 810 and the close was 1322, so you would definitely expect to see some ranging within that, some downside at the start of the week. And I wouldn't believe you're safe, you're at a support zone or anything like that until you'd be back down at $500. So all of here is fair game over the course of next week. I think the hopium is that we are on the first mega trend for Sky share token, and you can see it's called Dark Crypto Share there. The Sky Share token and the Dark Crypto platform itself. Absolutely not financial advice. Again, that's what I'm saying. It's probably due some more cooling off. A lot of people will be seeing profits here in this 1300, not 13,000, this $1,300 range. So want to be careful of at the start of the week. But at the same time, a lot of excitement growing around the platform. So one of the last ones I want to cover on a weekly recap, at least, the kind of important tokens to me, at least. Not that I'm invested here. I have a tiny bag of like Sky. That's about it. So the Cronodes project, has been making more announcements about their plans and stuff. We've seen continued cool off now, but the volume is completely tiny. It has really dropped off compared to what it was before. I mean, some of those days we had 4 and 5 million, 3 million and a half there, 3.2, 2.9, 2.09. It has dropped off all the way to now in the last 24 hours, 720k there, so under the $1 million in volume. It's hard to know exactly what's going to happen next, how much sell pressure you see. Really, this one all depends on narrative. But just to cover it, let's bring it out to the week here, which will probably be hilarious. There were like 4 prints, as they all are. It's so new, so brand new. But you can see the weekly is looking pretty scary, basically, because of those large wicks. But that was just all of the excitement surrounding the project and the news narrative. Our hope is that we don't drop back into that low $6 range and into the $5 and below. So for this next week now, you want to see that volume tick back up, maybe some hope and confidence in the project, and some news narratives around it that push it further out of this kind of $10 range. But for the week at least, opened at 850, was it? Yeah, 852, and it's closing, it looks like, at 885. It's had pretty big range in between there, with 1150 being its high and 848 being the low. Again, potentially could see downside in below the $10 and start to range towards the 5 if we have hard sell pressure, changing of a narrative and exciting news around the project. Then we can maybe see it to be moving out of the $10 range and into the $15 again. But that is hopium. It's complete and utter hopium. I expect to see more downside for the week, just based on the narrative and everything. But again, one I'm interested in, at least, because I'm keeping an eye on the whole nodes and the passive income, the reflection tokens, everything that's coming out at the moment. Want to keep an eye on some of them, make sure we have no scams or rugs involved, because that's obviously very easy in that type of project, because people are so excited about it and then it can just be pulled. So but I think these are one of the ones to trust, even though there has been some negative narrative. So I think that's about all we want to cover. Thank you very much for joining, if you did. So I'm seeing an error on my stream. I think it has been paused or something, but it's so confusing that my connection says it's good. I suppose we can waste a bit of time if you've been here at the end. But that seems to be continuing. I don't know. It's very strange anyway. Still getting used to the live streaming on YouTube. It has changed a lot in the last years too. So apparently the stream has failed for all intents and purposes. But at the same time, then my streaming software says we're fine and dandy. Continue to stream. So I'll continue on course, and I'll transition at least here and say goodbye to you for Sunday the 20th of March. It's a little news recap, the things I'm most interested in there. And we'll see you from some charts during the week and another recap at the end of the week. I want to do some project deep dives, which I'm preparing at the moment. Just my opinion, is just how I see the projects working out and stuff, not necessarily breaking down everything about tokenomics or the mechanics of a project and things like that. I like to take big generalist overviews and sort of those predictions of how projects will need to go if they're to be successful. It's that kind of thing that, like, would that have been easy to see when Mad Meerkat launched, or would it have been hard? I think it would have been hard. So it's something for us all to talk through. I want to start those conversations through the YouTube channel, and then they'll leak out hopefully onto the spaces and in the tweets and etc. And we can kind of call out the best projects and hopefully watch each other's backs here as well. So again, follow at Cronos News, at News Cronos, excuse me. But it's Cronos News through the Web3 Wires platform. A lot of the articles you're seeing down below are Web3 Wires. They're very good. They're usually pretty short and succinct to give you exactly what you need to know. And we'll have some more interesting stuff in the descriptions there for you to catch up with and click on stuff to add to the reading list for during the week, for the commute if you're on the train or public transport or anything like that. And I suppose for those quiet times in the evening when you want to catch up on the alpha from Web3 Wires. So again, thanks to News Cronos. You want to follow them on at News Cronos. Very good spaces happening there all the time. Very good alpha being shared in those small tweets. Even the infographics are great to catch up on what's happening with the chain. So definitely keep up with them, and I will see you during the week soon.